We ready. We ready for another episode of Hidden Takes, Jay. It's episode 10, man. It just feels like it's getting more and more. And it makes sense because we about more than halfway through the season, All-Star break coming up. But today's a very special episode for those of our folks on listening, all our fans listening on podcasts, wherever you're getting this, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. And that's a special day because my brother, John. John is 23 today in his Jordan year, as I would call it, man. Happy birthday, brother. Been talking about this day for a long way. I know you're not a huge birthday guy, but what's up, man? How you feeling, bro? You feel any
Man,
older, Jay?
man, I'm feeling good, Jay. My back hurting a little bit, Jay. So I'm feeling a little old, Jay.
Carrying the squad, bro.
Yeah, man, Jay,
Carrying the
man.
squad.
Yeah, like how you said, man, it's my Jordan year. I'm turning 23 today, and I wouldn't want to spend it with nobody else, brother, but you and all the fans, man. So I'm more than happy to be here, man. And like how we always say, I just love to talk hoop with you, brother, for real. So I appreciate you even giving me a shout out for that, brother.
Nah, always, brother. Always, brother. And I'm happy to hear that, man. Happy to talk ball with you on your day too, man. But let's further or less, let's just get right into it as we always do here, man. So first order of business on this Hidden Takes is we always dive into some quick news, quick updates on the league. First order of business and biggest news: Lonzo Ball, guard for the Chicago Bulls, is set to miss 6 to 8 weeks. The guard has not played since January 13th due to a left knee injury that requires arthroscopic knee surgery. So what's Jay? So real quick, I'm reading up on this and what it kind of means. So originally, the Bulls were kind of seeing what the route was, what kind of route they wanted to take, and they kind of opt with the more kind of long-term approach and safe approach in getting the surgery, where there was possible there's a chance that he might have been able to avoid getting surgery, but they ultimately went with it at the end of the day. And man, Jay, this is a huge loss for the Bulls, bro. How you feeling about this? I know you had them as contenders. I didn't, but how are you feeling about this, man?
Huge, Jay.
Huge.
This is a huge loss. And first thing that comes to mind, honestly, was that you called this. A couple of episodes ago, you said, look at the championship window. When you have a chance, you got to go for it. And we even went back and forth a little bit. You said you need to trade Patrick Williams for whoever it takes to reach that championship window, which they're in. And I was like, no, let Patrick Williams go, let it go long term. And honestly, Jay, ultimately I was wrong, man. You're right, because at this point the Bulls, like, their championship window is gone. Like, it's gone. Like, no Lonzo Ball, no getting deep in the playoffs. So honestly, I mean, we were talking a little bit off camera before we started, but the Bulls need to be so aggressive in this trade deadline, and they need to be looking to ship anybody besides DeMar, Zach, and Vooch. Like, everybody else can go to get a championship caliber player, man, because I wouldn't say Lonzo is like a championship caliber point guard, but he's a good player that can play defense and can push the pace and can be a good scorer at times, man. So that was just a huge loss for the Bulls, and honestly, just a huge, like, gut wrencher, man, for all the Bulls fans. Garrett, I know he's feeling it out there, man.
Yeah, no, Gary, who we just had on your show on our last weekly recap, week 13 recap. I know he's feeling it for sure, man. Seems like as of late, the Bulls just can't catch a break, man. And it happens with a lot of teams. And you're exactly right. I did talk about the championship window. Just adds to that, to case in point, man. Unfortunately, when you got guys in the prime, DeMar's in his prime. Zach LaVine's like right in his prime. I'd see even DeMar's at the kind of the end of his prime, if anything. And then Lonzo, obviously, in the prime, or coming into the best basketball that he's played in his career. So unfortunate to see like a guy like that go down. But definitely, when you look at the standings of Bulls here on January 20th, they're sitting in the first seed, 28-15, with Miami right there, only about one game back, and then the standings there at 29-16, and then you got Brooklyn with 28-16. And then you got Milwaukee right behind them in the 4th seed at 28-19. And I just see that I don't see the Bulls being able to stay in this. We've seen the Bulls, Ayo Dosunmu come in recently, the rookie, and play some good basketball. I just don't see that sticking up. He's shooting like something like 70 or 80%. That's unsustainable. They just got Alex Caruso back, but I don't think those guys, also with the fact that you add in Zach LaVine and his concern with his knee injury as well, I really don't see the Bulls staying afloat there. The one I see the Miami Heat with Kyle Lowry obviously out with personal issues, but Bam recently back in the lineup playing great basketball. I know because I got him on my fantasy squad with a huge performance last night with a double-double, adding in some steals and blocks. We know what he brings to the floor. I don't know about the Nets, Jay. I don't see them kind of creeping up, especially with KD. It's ultimately up to James Harden and Kyrie on away games, I guess, and then the Bucks. But I can see the Bucks right now in the Heat kind of pushing up to the 1-2 kind of respectively, whatever order it is. Right now, only 2 games back. The Bucks and then the Heat are literally tied for first right now with the Bulls. I think the Bulls have just played less games or more games just looking at their schedule. But that's just how I'm feeling. Quick rundown of how I see the East shaking out after this.
Quick question though, Jay. You know, like with this devastating news of Lonzo, like how far do you see the Bulls dropping? Like, do you see them dropping below the third seed, which is currently the Brooklyn Nets? Do you see them dropping out of the top 5, or like where do you think the Bulls end up finishing with this?
I mean, he's out 6 to 8 weeks. So if we're looking at this, best case scenario, he's back about mid-March. So mid-March to late March. That's 6 weeks right there. And I see them being kind of in the 6th seed, 5th seed. I think them dropping back. I can see even like Philly pushing back. So I think kind of the 4th or 5th seed is realistic. Especially you see all the way to the 6th seed. Cleveland's only 2.5 games back from the 1st seed right now,
which is crazy.
So you could even see a team like Charlotte sneaking in. I mean, it's really too hard to tell right now, but I see them kind of realistically with the 4th to 5th seed because I see DeMar and Zach LaVine, and when he gets healthy, keeping them afloat because I think they're definitely good enough caliber. I wouldn't be even surprised if they're able to stay afloat in the top 3 seed, man. But definitely from the 3 to 4 kind of range, maybe even 5. But it's so stacked up and so bunched up there with the top 6 seeds and the East, man. But that's right now. How are you feeling about it, Jay?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think ultimately because really 1 through 6 is like bunched up within 2 to 2.5 games. I think they're going to end up falling to around like that 5th seed, that 5th seed spot. But it's just crazy, Jay, because like man, like the Bulls season's just been such a roller coaster. Like it started really so high, they started playing so good, and then they had a little bit of a downfall. They lost a lot of players due to COVID. They had getting games canceled. Now they reclaimed this number 1 seed, and now they're just dropping down, man. So that's just crazy, man. So wow, prayers up for Lonzo, prayers up for all the Bulls fans because it might be over for them, Jay.
Yeah, no, I mean, worst case or I guess best case, you get Lonzo back, you get him healthy for the playoffs and for that playoff push, and that's really what you want for the Bulls. But I really think they got to add another piece, like I've been saying, a Jeremy Grant, whatever guys on the block, a Miles Turner, they could be even interested in him. But anything you could get right now to keep you afloat. And even potentially when you get Lonzo, there's still a chance you can make a run. Let's not even count that out. I don't see it, but if you really want to make a push, maximize that championship window, then you got to do it if you're the Bulls. But let's move on to the next kind of topic, Jay, and that's kind of the scores of last night, man. But one score in particular and one game in particular is your Los Angeles Lakers losing 111 to 104 to the Indiana Pacers without obviously Miles Turner, man. A big game from Domantas Sabonis with a double-double, 20 and 10. 20 and 12 with a 10 assists, man. But that's not even the story of that game. With 1 minute left in that game, we saw Frank Vogel go with the decision. Your guy, Frank, beloved by Laker Nation. For those of you who don't know, I'm being sarcastic because this guy's under a lot of heat right now, man, and for a lot of the right reasons, man. He's have some questionable rotations, even from a basketball outsider, not even a Laker fan. You can see that. But the topic of discussion last night, man, and what I want to bring up: Russell Westbrook, benched last night with 1 minute to go. Frank Vogel saying the Lakers stating that management has given the clearance to play Russell Westbrook however they want, man. However he wants to proceed. And there's no clear indication that they're looking to get rid of Frank Vogel at this point, man? Are you buying it? What's the situation? How are you feeling about that situation? What went down last night, man? Because that's huge news. I thought I was asking for that a while back, a few episodes ago, asking for Russell Westbrook to be benched, man. And it finally came to fruition last night at the end of the game.
So when I first heard that news, Jay, the first thing I think of was, wait, why did management just give the clearance now? Like, he should have had clearance to bench him if he wasn't playing well in the beginning of the season. Like, there shouldn't be no clearance like, oh, now you can bench him. Like, no, I'm going to bench you based on how you're playing. And he has not been playing well all season. All season has been bad, Russell Westbrook. And honestly, I mean, as a Lakers fan, and honestly just as a NBA watcher, man, just bench him. He can't play. He's not playing right now. He's taking the ball away from LeBron. He's taking the minutes away from LeBron. He's taking he has in terrible percentages every game. He has a lot of turnovers. He's not very efficient, man. Just the man doesn't deserve to be playing. I get it. Yeah, I'm not saying nothing about the pass of Russell Westbrook. The pass of Russell Westbrook, bro, he's a league MVP. He's gonna go down as a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, for the things that he did with these triple doubles. But it's the back end of his career. It's the back end of his career. When he was good is when he was extremely explosive, blowing by everybody. Nobody was able to even keep up with him. But it's just not there anymore. It's just a different Russell Westbrook, and he's trying to play with that same type of mentality, that same type of game. And he's older, and it's just not working. And I think that this move was long overdue to bench Russell Westbrook. Should have been coming off the bench, in my opinion, since the beginning of the season, man. And then just, I'll talk about this a little bit more when I talk about this the Lakers versus Jazz game. But I just want to highlight that the Lakers came back in that game when Russell Westbrook was benched. So this just, just something for people, just for people to notice there, because I don't think that the Lakers are going to really be better off Russell Westbrook. And at this point, like, I'm not saying buyout, but like, I mean, look somewhere near that direction, man, because we talked about it. I don't think no other 29 teams in the NBA are going to take Russell Westbrook on that contract.
Nah, I mean, I agree. I mean, there's no team in the NBA who wants that contract, wants the brand of basketball that he's been playing. So that's really what it is, man. Unfortunately for them. But let's move on to the next order of business. And it's kind of odd that this is happening right around the trade deadline and right around what's going on for the Pacers, man. Obviously, they got the big road win last night over the Lakers, man. But that's not even the story of that game. So for the Lakers, their star, and who I just mentioned, Domantas Sabonis, came down with that in that game with what they're calling a serious ankle sprain. And post game, Rick Carlisle said that he's expected and has an ankle sprain and is probably going to miss significant time, man. So Sabonis appeared to hurt his left ankle with just under 5 minutes to play. He rolled his ankle when he landed on Russell Westbrook's foot while grabbing a rebound. Sabonis was able to play in the game despite the injury and recorded a triple-double. The injury comes at a difficult time for the Pacers. Indiana is already without Miles Turner, like I just said, man. So he won't be reevaluated for 2 weeks and has no timeable return. So, Jay, this is a huge loss, especially for a team and a player who's in a lot of trade talks right now. So, Jay, how you feeling about this news on the injury front with a team who already has a valuable trade piece and Miles Turner out, and then you got Domantas Sabonis out? What are you feeling about this situation?
I mean, for the Pacers, like, winning chances, I mean, that shit was already out the window. Like, they weren't going to win. But I mean, to lose their literally 1 and 2 biggest trading pieces is probably going to be the worst news that they've gotten all season. Honestly, to be real with you, I don't know why the Pacers, unless they were bluffing in the beginning of the season when they said, "Oh, we're looking to rebuild." Unless they were bluffing, I don't know why the Pacers didn't just already sit these guys. Like, as soon as they realized, okay, like, we're going to rebuild.
Like Andre Drummond.
Exactly. Just sit him. Just say, okay, well, management, injury management, or this or that, or whatever you want to call it, man. Like that thing that Kawhi Leonard used to do. I'm blanking on the name right now. load management. Exactly.
Yeah.
Load management. Do that. Do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Because now you're not doing that. Yes, great job. Sabonis got a triple double last night, and he's been doing his thing. But now you might have just lost your key piece for the future because now Sabonis is coming down with this serious injury, man. So honestly, this is just like the worst is getting worse for the Pacers, man. So I just feel bad for them at this point.
No, I mean, I agree, man. It's an unfortunate situation. And yeah, I think the situation is if you want to bench the guys, you bench them. If you're serious about doing the trades, man, then do the trades, get them out of there before you're risking the injury, and that's exactly what happened, man. They got injured, so let's keep it pushing, man. To the next order of business here, Jay, and that is, you kind of already talked about it. We kind of talked about it briefly, but that's what do you think about Frank Vogel and his kind of how he's moving in LA? Like, is he gonna be there for the future? What's the temperature on that?
So I mean, honestly, to be real, man, I don't think he's the right coach to be there, but who is? Like what options are out there, right? I definitely like Lionel Hollins, but then he ended up getting picked up by the Kings, getting picked up by the Kings. So then that went out the window. But I mean, at this point, I don't think Frank Vogel is the right coach because of these terrible and questionable lineups. I don't think, to be real, he's been the right coach since the 2020 championship, since that bubble championship. I don't think that had much to do with Frank Vogel. I don't think that the Lakers were like winning because of these great lineups and great plays that he was running out there. I think it was simply on the strength of LeBron and AD just being extremely dominant and just kind of like running that two-man game. But to be real with you, Jay, I don't think he's the right fit for the Lakers. I think the Lakers need to seriously be looking in that coaching's market, and I'm more of a, we're more of a players guy. You know what I'm saying? I know all players in the NBA, but I don't know all coaches in the NBA. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that this guy, that guy, because I just don't know, man. But the Lakers they need to know, and they need to get on and figure out something better than Frank Vogel, man, because this is just not working. It hasn't been working since 2020.
Facts. For me, Frank Vogel, I feel like has been, and I've been saying this from when they were in the bubble and how he coached that team and all the depth that they had on that team, the JaVale McGee's, the Alex Caruso's, even THT, a young THT on that roster. They had Dwight Howard. They had all these guys, all these pieces to work with. And he had a lot of depth, and he used that depth greatly in the bubble. That was one of the best coaching jobs we've seen in a while, man. But it seems like then, since the bench has gotten more and more depleted, since then, we saw a little bit about last year. Obviously, LeBron had his bad ankle injuries, high ankle sprain. AD got injured as well. He didn't make adjustments throughout that playoff run. He didn't have a lot of pieces to make in the regular season after both of those guys went down. And then we push forward to this year. He's doing the same thing. It's like he's still living in the past where he thinks he has that depth when, man, you don't. Like, you got to cut the bench. You got to play less guys, man. And he still thinks that he can play Trevor Ariza. He can start Avery Bradley. It's like, man, what are you doing? These guys are way past the prime. Just because you sign him doesn't mean you got to start him over Malik Monk, who's been playing great basketball and has great chemistry with LeBron, man. So that's been working for you. Why go away from that? So I really don't know what this guy doing. Definitely on the hot seat, despite what management says and all this. I'm just not buying into it right now. But speaking of that, man, and we talk about depth, we talk about teams needing to make a move. I mentioned earlier, Jay, the trade deadline is officially 3 weeks away, man. For you, I want two teams in the East and West that need to make a move. Who are those for you?
Okay, for the East, it's definitely the Bulls, man. They need to be looking to capitalize on that championship window, and then another team for the Eastern Conference. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I'm going to say the 76ers, man. And I'm not talking about just the Ben Simmons. No, I'm talking about get somebody in there to help Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, as of late, has been playing ridiculous, like MVP level type of performance. And not only do I think it's not sustainable because we know Joel Embiid, he goes down with injuries, but I think he needs somebody else to take the load off him a little bit more. And those two moves could, the Bulls, if they make the right move, that could seriously make them into a contender or sustain them until that top spot. In the 76ers, that can not only keep them in a championship window, but I could also keep Joel Embiid happy, because how many years is Joel Embiid going to put up with this drama and with all this going on, man? So for the East, I'm going to go with the Bulls and the 76ers. And then for the West, I'm definitely going to go with man, I want to say Lakers, but I mean, who are they going to move, man? Like, that's just the thing.
Yeah. No, I would say Lakers, man. No, in the West, I got the Lakers, man. The trouble is, like you said, and I know why you're hesitant. We don't know what move there is to make for the Lakers, but it's clear it's got to be them. So we're not management, Jay. Management's got to figure that out and make a move, and it's clear to the Lakers in the West. So no need to even hesitate on that, because it's clearly them. And then push it to the East. You're right about the Sixers. I'm agree to that. Sixers, Ben Simmons has been an issue since the beginning of the season. The fact that Daryl Morey is bluffing and saying that he wants to hold off. He'll hold off 4 years before he trades him for a valuable piece. Man, stop that. I think you got to Joel Embiid. We saw what he did last night, 50 piece and putting up ridiculous numbers, man. Clearly, they need to add someone, even if it's more. They're not getting a star. You can add a piece. You can add some. Indiana threw a great offer at them. Actually, no, it was Detroit who threw a great offer at them. It was Kelly Olynyk, some picks, a first-round pick. You know, if Detroit sends you a first-round pick, that's going to be a top-5 pick, unless it's protective. And I definitely take something like that, and you get some pieces around them. I don't even know if you need a star. You can take a Jeremy Grant, you can take a Kelly Olynyk, and another kind of role player, and I think you'd be fine. And you'd still be in a better position than you were without a Ben Simmons not playing. And then I think Boston is the other team who needs to make a move. And then another team in the West, I would say, is the Trailblazers, man. We've seen that they're stuck in the mud with that combo of Dame and CJ. Dame probably most likely, in my opinion. Smartly, he should probably sit out the rest of the season, because I don't see the Trailblazers making any noise right now. And we've seen the emergence of Anthony Simons, man, playing great basketball and looking like, man, he could be the future there in Portland. And CJ's back, but I think they should just move him and try to see what they can get, bring in some young pieces, get some picks. I don't know, but Portland's got to shake it up there, because it's just really not working, man.
And Jay, real quick, how do you feel about the Mavs? Do you think the Mavs are one of those teams that urgently need to be looking to make a move?
I could see the Mavs benefiting from a move. I don't see them as a contender there right now with the current roster they got, but I would definitely see that. And then another team, honorable mention, I'll call it, is Utah. I just think I think that Utah, with the backcourt that they got, playing undersized with Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell, I think Joe Ingles and Royce O'Neal, and I even looked at why I'm saying this right now is because I look at that that Lakers loss, and I think that's a pretty bad loss, because you have pretty much full strength roster, and you saw that the Lakers were able to, for the most part, beat you with LeBron playing at that 5, and that's cool if you want to do that. I still think you definitely have to have Rudy Gobert and try your best to have him on the floor, but you can't be winning if Joe Ingles is getting cooked, virtually unplayable, in my opinion. Royce O'Neal, we've seen his lack of athleticism. And Jordan Clarkson has just been god-awful. I mean, he's been terrible, man. So if you have those guys playing that awful and you're not getting that production from your wings, I think they just need to make a move. Like, Rudy Gay was not the guy that they needed. Everyone thought, including myself, thought Rudy Gay was, man, that great signing. He's going to be the addition that the Utah Jazz needed. And we clearly seen that Rudy Gay, unfortunately, like, with all due respect, dude is washed. So, I mean, you need to make a move to get an athletic wing who can guard on the perimeter for the Jazz, and give Rudy Gobert some help, man, because he's just getting cooked. His guys are getting cooked and putting him in uncomfortable situations. And you already have an undersized backcourt with Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley. So I think Utah needs to be making a move because it's clear right now with the roster they got, they're not going anywhere. They're just going to underachieve and filter out and falter out like they did last playoffs. That's the direction like it's looking like it's going for the Utah Jazz. So I think they need to make a move. Let's keep it pushing, Jay, and let's talk about this All-Star returns, man. Obviously, your guy LBJ took over as the leading front court getter. The leading vote getter in the front court in the West, with Steph Curry follow on the second with 6 mil. That's so many people voting, but
that's a lot.
Let's talk about what we got rankings in the front court. I don't know if you got it pulled up too right now. We got the we got LeBron first right now in the West in the front court. Nikola Jokic at second, and then we got third. We got Andrew Wiggins for the Golden State Warriors. You know, I'm happy to see him up there, man.
You called it,
and I think it's warranted, man. I think it's he deserves to be up there. Now, will he get in? That's a different question. I think he's deserving. Others may not, but if he continues to stay this high up on the votings, and we look who's under him, Paul George won't be playing in it. Anthony Davis, doubt he'll be playing in it. Draymond, doubt he'll be playing in the All-Star game at this point with his calf injury. Carmelo, I don't see him beating out Andrew Wiggins. And Cat right now, with that voting discrepancy, don't see him beating out Wiggins. So by default and by fan votes right now, looking like Wiggs is going to be a starter, man, which is, if you told me before the start of the season, I did not think that, man. That's crazy. So good to see there, man. But then in the guards, we got Steph and Ja Morant first and second there. I think that was my predictions and what our predictions we had, those two as the backcourt. So no surprise there. Luka third there, and then Clay at fourth. A lot of love from the Dub fans. And Devin Booker, which is surprising that Clay's above him, but you know, I guess Dub Nation's just showing out and voting right now. But let's push it to the Eastern Conference. We got KD and first there in the front court, Giannis in the second, and then Joel Embiid third. Really no surprise there with that top three. Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler rounding out the top five there. I think all five of those guys are going to get in. And then Jared Allen six, I see him getting in as well. Push it to the guards in the East. You got DeMar at first, Trae Young second in votes, Zach LaVine in third, and then James Harden in fourth. All four of those guys again, I see getting in. You know, there was a question of James Harden, and we kind of were like going back and forth. Would he get in? Would he not? Now I see him getting in, man. He's put together, you know, enough. Despite his inefficiencies, he's kind of keeping Brooklyn afloat there and has been playing some okay basketball. But the real kind of question, Jay, is LaMelo, who's sitting at 5 right now, Kyrie Irving at 6, and then Fred VanVleet, who I believe should be a lock right now, especially on the run that he went on in the past 3 weeks of basketball he's been playing, keeping the Raptors at kind of like 500, above 500. I believe they are right now. Maybe they're a little lower with the loss that they just had this last night, but against Dallas. But despite that, man, who do you see? Because I think only between James, LaMelo, Kyrie, and Fred VanVleet, I think only really 2 of them are getting in. But what 2 are you taking out of those 4?
I mean, I'm personally taking James Harden and Fred VanVleet, man. I definitely just don't like want Kyrie Irving. Like, I'm not even trying to hate on Kyrie Irving, but I mean, he causes drama, dog. Like, he's not playing. Like, he just did a whole like fucking thing that just wasn't necessary. I didn't like that. And I generally don't think LaMelo has been outplaying James Harden nor Fred VanVleet, man. So I'm right there. What about you? You got the same, Jay?
Yeah, I got those 2, Freddie All-Star and my guy, James Harden, man. Not my guy, but the beard. He's been playing enough basketball, and we see Brooklyn definitely needs a representative. KD's not going to be in there, which makes me kind of think, man, there could be a chance that Kyrie gets in if Brooklyn gets 2, but James Harden for sure is a lock. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, he's definitely a lock now that KD's not going to be representing the Nets. they're gonna have a representative there, and Hart is for sure a lot because of that.
And then Jay, just real quick, I just want to throw something out there, man. For these West guards, like for the fans, like guys, like let's vote based on performance, not popularity contest. Why is Russell Westbrook in the top 6 for like All-Star? Like, come on, dog. Like, and even shout out Junior, because Junior sent me this text. It was like the Lakers Nation, like they had like tweeted out like retweet for Russell Westbrook, like to be voted in. And I'm like, how do you even have the audacity to do that, dog? Like, You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, guys. Like, let's vote based on performance, not a popularity contest. No way Chris Paul is behind Russell Westbrook. No way Donovan Mitchell is behind Russell Westbrook. No way, in my opinion, Anthony Edwards is behind Russell Westbrook. So come on, guys. I just wanted to throw it out there, Jay. That's a problem I have.
No, that definitely a warranted call out, man. what are we doing here? Like,
what are we doing here?
We got a Lakers Nation himself saying Westbrook. I mean, any basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
fan
be real.
Knows that Westbrook hasn't been playing great basketball. He's playing piss poor basketball, man. So no way. It's baffling, man. But do what you want, man. I guess it's your vote. I guess it's your vote, right? So, but yeah, no, just that's our news for today, man. We will keep that short. Let's move on to the games, our games recaps, man. I'll let you kick this one off, man. First, before we do that, man, I'm gonna highlight 2 games because I know we're not gonna be talking about them, and just 2 performances from 2 of these games, and those are 2, in my opinion. I don't know if you have this same feeling. The MVP frontrunners, and that's from Nikola Jokic, the reigning MVP, the reigning league MVP, and Joel Embiid, who I talked about earlier on this episode, and we both talked about earlier, in the Sixers, man. So the Sixers pulled off the 123, 110 win against the Orlando Magic, that great basketball team, the Magic, man. And we saw a little bit of giving and taking, man, of Mo Bamba with a career high 32 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, man, putting in work. And then Joel saw that and he's like, no, I'm gonna go to work and silence all this, man. I'm not letting you win this matchup. And that's exactly what Joel MVP Embiid did, man. And he put it together as 50 piece with 12 rebounds, 2 assists, man. Didn't even need to assist because he almost had half the points for the Sixers, man. So Jay, huge performance from him, putting up MVP numbers, MVP performances, keeping them 8 games above 500 right now. Just had to shoot out that performance. And then you push it forward to the Nuggets with some questionable calls late in this one. I was able to catch a little bit of the end of this, man. But the Nuggets with the 130-128 win over the Clippers, man. And whoa. I know you were loving this performance from the Joker, bro. The Joker with 49 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists, doing numbers for Jay's fantasy team, but just numbers for the Nuggets, man. This guy's doing it all. I'll still say this, man. This dude is underrated for all the love and praise that he got from being the MVP. I still think it's not enough for what he's doing right now. Got the Nuggets 3 games over 500 right now without Jamal Murray and without Michael Porter Jr., man. Enough doesn't get said about what the Joker's doing. Just godlike numbers right now. So just had to shout out those performances, man. But Jay, what game you got, man? From this week, doesn't have to be last night's. It could be from the day before or Monday. What you got for week 14?
I got for week 14, I got a game from January 18th, and that was the Lakers versus Jazz game. You know, I said I'd talk about that a little bit. And then what we saw before this game, LeBron come out and apologize to Lakers Nation for them that they haven't been playing well. And then Lakers came out and had a good performance, man. You know, and I called it on the last episode. I was like, man, I think the Lakers are gonna. I said the Lakers were gonna lose. I thought because Rudy was gonna play, but in fact the Lakers actually had a great game, man. The first thing I noticed was the Lakers really combated Rudy Gobert's height by just going small. They went small all game, and Lakers definitely got killed on a lot of Rudy Gobert's pick and rolls. But Rudy Gobert was just simply not able to keep up with these guards in the perimeter on the other end, man. And then in the second quarter, the Lakers really kind of took control of this game by only allowing 20 points and really being taking care of the ball, only having one turnover. And then I know we've been shit on Russell Westbrook, Jay, but the only one highlight I want to give to him is that dunk he had over Russell Westbrook. I'm not gonna lie, that dunk was ferocious. Like he came down the lane, like I didn't even expect that. I was like, oh shit. Like out of nowhere.
That was crazy.
And then after the second quarter, in good old Lakers fashion, I mean, we know what they do in the third quarter. They fumble the bag. They got outscored 32-20, and they turn over the ball 6 times in that third quarter. It seemed like they just kind of forgot how to play basketball, forgot how to guard Rudy Gobert. He got whatever he wanted in the paint in the third quarter. And then in that third quarter, Jay, the Lakers played 9 players. Only 4 players scored. The Jazz played 8 players. All players on the Jazz scored. So the Jazz definitely just controlled that entire third quarter. But then coming into that fourth, the Jazz were up big, man. They were up by 13. Lakers go on a 20-2 run to be able to ignite this comeback, man. And the reason why, in my opinion, this run happened, man, was because the Lakers really started to tie down and really play that good defense they were playing early in the game. And, I would be remiss if I didn't give Stanley Johnson the shout out. He had 10 points in the fourth quarter, man. It was just, really doing his thing out there. And then I have this here in my notes, Jay, but I kind of talked about it earlier. I wanted to highlight the fact that Russell Westbrook played 10 minutes in the third quarter and the Lakers went down big. He played 3 minutes in the fourth quarter, and the Lakers went on a 20-2 run. So again, take it with a grain of salt. I feel like I want everyone to just, think about this. Hopefully Rob Pelinka listens to this podcast and thinks about making some moves. And then, after that 20-2 run, man, I mean, the Lakers really never let off the gas. The defense really ended up winning the Lakers this game because the Jazz, the highest scoring team in the NBA right now, the Lakers were able to hold them under 100 points. They held Donovan Mitchell, their star player, to 13 points. Joe Ingles to 9 points. Jordan Clarkson 6. So the Lakers definitely did a good job on the defensive end, and that was the reason that they won. But I mean, it comes with a caveat, man. It comes with a caveat because every time we talk about the Lakers, what do I tell you at the end? Let's see it the next game. The next game came up and they lost to Indiana Pacers, who's purposely trying to lose. So, I mean, I guess you could be happy over that Jazz win if you want, but shit, I mean, never comes with consistency. So, I mean, good game for the Lakers that game, but I would love to see some consistent play throughout the season, not just one win, one loss, one win, one loss.
No, absolutely, man. No, that was a tough loss. For the Lakers to come back and play after a game that they had a performance like that against the Jazz. So it's never really sticking. And that's been the theme of the season, why the Lakers are 22, 1 game under 500 to this point, and why they got to make a move at this point. So the game I got to talk about was from last night, Wednesday, the 19th of January. And that was the Bulls with a 117-104 huge win over the Cleveland Cavaliers, a game that they knew they needed to have. And DeMar DeRozan understood that the Bulls needed to win, and they came away and they had a huge run to win this game. DeMar scored 30 points. Vucevic added 24 and 12 rebounds, and the struggling Bulls were able to win this game with a 14-2 run to beat the charging Cleveland Cavs, man. So what I saw from this game, obviously, the guy I talked about earlier was that rookie is Ayo Dosunmu. Would he step up? He obviously needs to fill the role of Lonzo Ball, which you can't do. Ultimately, Lonzo's his own player. Ayo's a rookie who's just trying to find his way in the league right now. But he did his best impersonation of him, making plays on the defensive and playmaking, getting other guys involved. And that's exactly what you need to do. At home, they haven't been doing a good job of protecting home court. They got pounded twice at home recently by 26 to Brooklyn, and then 42 in that huge loss to Golden State in their worst defeat of the year. And then they lost by 2 late to Boston. And then they lost on Monday. We saw them lose on Monday to the Grizzlies, who beat them 119-106 on Monday afternoon. So this was a game that the Bulls needed to win, like I've been saying, and that's exactly what they did. Dunsuma, to talk about his stat line a little more, scored 18, hitting 3 of Chicago's 10 threes. Kobe White added 16 and 4 steals. Alex Caruso scored 9 points and 22 in his first appearance back in a month. And then the Bulls turned over the Cavaliers 15 times, which turned into 24 points. So this was just a great team effort. We saw that them playing to a lot better defense. A lot of them, it was a huge performance from Vucevic as well, being able to combat that length and that athleticism of the Cavs. Man, we've seen a lot of teams struggle with that 3 big front that they use with that Mobley, Jared Allen, and Lauri Markkanen, man. And they were able to win despite Lauri Markkanen, who I'll talk about on the Cavs side, having 28 points, making 5 threes as another member of the Clutch Talk fantasy team for John. So I know you were liking that performance, man. But this was a huge win at the end of the day. Long story short, for the Bulls, man, to win this game, man. 16 from DeMar DeRozan in the second quarter, and Chicago ended the half on a 10-0 run to go up by 9 at the end of the first half. And then they followed that up in the second half with another big run. So just a game of runs, and Bulls had the most, and they needed it in a big way, especially now that they finally realized that Lonzo is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. We don't know when Zach LaVine's going to be coming back. So a big win for the Bulls, especially against a team like the caliber, a top team in the East like the Cavs, man. So that's really my recap on that one.
Jay, real quick, I got a quick question for you, just like on your opinion on the Bulls. So we know Zach and DeMar are absolutely untouchables, but I mean, is Vuce untouchable? Because I mean, they need it.
I would say he's a big part of what they do. So
he is.
I think he's untouchable, man. I think they brought him in for a reason. He's, despite like it's been up and down and he's had a slower start, but we've seen really what he can do as of late, and I think he's a big piece. So I'd say he's untouchable. Yeah.
Okay, and then another question on the Cavs side. I want to get your opinion on this, and this is like really like kind of like how you look at the game, but with Lauri Markkanen, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. Jared Allen probably being the best current player right now. Evan Mobley probably having the highest ceiling, and Lauri Markkanen probably not being far off from Jared Allen. But if you had to rank them, Jay, if you had to rank them, 1, 2, and 3, what would you rank those big threes?
I would say the big 3 for Cleveland, right?
Cleveland, yeah.
Yeah, I would say Mobley is 1, Jared Allen 2, and then Lauri Markkanen is 3rd.
Okay,
that's how I'm feeling about that.
I like that, Jay. Yeah. All right, brother. Well, then I think this is a good place for us to go ahead and wrap it up here, man. I mean, we talked about a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of NBA news, a lot of NBA games, man. And I mean, Jay, this is a critical point of the season, man. This is a turning point for a lot of teams. So I'm just excited, man, and I'm sure ready to watch some hoops. You got any last words you want to say before we check off here, Jay?
No, we halfway through the season. You're right, man. A lot of teams got to make or break a lot of seasons, and we're getting towards trades. There's going to be a lot of more trades. We saw a 3-team trade go down. There's going to be some bigger names involved. It's about that first trade, that first domino to fall, and I think a lot of other teams are gonna make some trades. So I think a lot of teams are looking at Portland, Indiana. And then the Lakers too, Sacramento. Those 4 teams, I'd say, are gonna make that trip, throw that chip, and then the chips are gonna fall. The rest of the trades are gonna be made. So, it's gonna be a crazy, wild month we got here left in the league.
Let's see it, man. So for all the fans, man, we hope you guys enjoy the episode, and you guys definitely stay tuned, man. As these trades comes up, me and Jay will be talking about our opinion. We'll be dropping some episodes on it. So just definitely stay up to date with that. And the best way to stay up to date with us, man, is by following us on our Instagram, our Twitter, our TikTok. It's at Clutch Talk Pod. Again, that's at Clutch Talk Pod. And for those of you guys that are on YouTube, man, shout out you guys. It'll be right here, man, and in the description down below. But Man, we love y'all, man. And just stay tuned, man, because we got some fire content coming up. But if that's it, man, then we out of here, y'all. Clutch Talk out.
Peace.